What up, people? What's good? Salute.
Yes, sir.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Salute to the tribe. We're hip hop and comics and hip hop. We're a niche channel. Reserved for the best is super dope. I do sell comics. Check me out on Instagram at @6th_element_comic. So that beat is growing on me. Just what's up, everybody? This is the Sixth Element of hip hop. I am your host, Reno Noir, and this is my co-host Sada. And we have another co-host, Stu Dog, in the wings. He'll be on the second. And how you doing, Sada?
I'm doing good.
Looking good.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about The Boys and how the show is better than the comics.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people did not like the comics.
Yeah, this is a rare case. That's why I want to talk about it. This is such a rare case because typically the show is gonna, the comic, the literature, the book, whatever it is usually always better than the live action.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, in this case, most people prefer the show, and there's a lot of reasons why. What's up, Stu?
Nothing much. What's going on? Peace to the chat. Peace to
Corey Adger, what
everybody
up?
in the world. Peace to everybody in the world. Corey Adger, what's up?
Hell yeah. So yeah, the
Oh, you
boys.
talking about the boys?
The
Well, the boys was made. Well, we gotta understand that the boys was made to be a commercial success for the casual audience. I remember people they are catering to the casual audience. If the casual audience accepts it, it'll get another season. It'll get everything it needs to get, But if the hardcore fans like it, it's kind of a toss up.
Yeah.
Like like perfect example. Now, when I say perfect, I mean perfect example is Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad it was a commercial success. But the hardcore fans wasn't really too keen on it. They really didn't like Will Smith. They didn't like that he didn't wear the mask, his Deadshot.
Yeah.
They even came up with, they even said they could have made him a modified version because Deadshot has been known to wear modified versions of his mask. But he always has his eyepiece in because he doesn't have a reticle on his gun. Like he doesn't have a scope on his gun. He has a personal scope that he wears on his head that he actually created. It's actually tech that he made in order to
built into the
help
mask, help him target.
Right. I've even seen him with just a giant eyepiece and his face exposed. A lot of people saying they could have did that, but Black and Critical Peace. They thought it was too much about Harley Quinn, then they complained about Joker. But it got so much commercial success. They had a part 2. We get to part 3. So
but a lot of comics, like a lot of it really, I mean, that's a perfect example, but there are, I think, tons of examples of comic shows or movies that just aren't gonna be the same or better than the comics. Another great example is The Watchmen. A lot of
that was great. That was great.
He's like, wait.
That was great.
I thought that was really good.
That was great. That actually kind of followed the comic. It actually kind of followed the comic real well. I say Lock and Key. Deviated a lot from the actual
book. That's the show on Netflix, right?
Yes, because in Lock and Key, in the beginning of the book, they do the hostage situation, and what they don't tell you is that the 2 boys were there holding them hostage. They raped the mother, they killed the dad, and then the mother and the kids overtook them and killed them. And they didn't put that part in there at all. They put that part in, and they didn't talk about that or anything. There's some keys they don't talk about. I guess they're saving it for next season or whatever the case. But Lock and Key is another example of a comic that was kind of real gritty. But then you look at the Netflix show, you're like, huh, what happened? Like, still good,
Well,
but
and like but what I'm saying is that's an example of ones that are as good and some even like better. A lot of people watch some of those shows and don't even know that there's comics to it, and because they're much lesser known comics. It's not Spider-Man or X-Men or whatever. It's stuff that a lot of people, that unless you're a comic nerd or you're into comics, you really wouldn't know about. But I think there's a there's a number of reasons why the TV show adaptation of The Boys is better. Like less edgy for the sake of being edgy. There's higher stakes. It's less a direct parody. I think there's one thing that sort of just exemplifies all that well, at least for me. And again, it's the comic is very much of a satire. It's very parody, very whereas the show is more realistic, if you will. Like, but while the ultimate sort of origin of the superheroes in the comic and the TV show is the same, that being exposure to Compound V, the way the show does it is far better. In the comics, due to Compound V, a Nazi super drug polluting the environment, some people just randomly gain superpowers, either from birth or due to exposure. In the TV show, however, the only people exposed to Compound V are the people who sign up with the corporation that essentially markets superheroes, who then injects V into the newborn infants of said people who sign them up. And the reason I think this is the better way is that it takes, frankly, reckless and silly reason for people just being born with powers and makes it into a far more sinister and devious and smarter plot. Instead of just essentially just relying on chance, Vought ensures they will always have a new generation of heroes to sell and get rich off of, and does it in a way that's far less obvious. Plus, it works into the control Vought has over their clients in an interesting way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think they always have in the show. I think there was always satire, but I feel like the satire is done really well in the Prime show. I think they're leaning a lot more into it this season. And if you check out their YouTube, they're going in hard with the marketing and the satire. It's so funny. Like some of the heroes, they have music videos, they have like a news show that they post. It's really funny. I've never seen anything like it, and it's like, wow. Well, there you go.
yeah, it's cool because it's like the outside, like in our world tie-in stuff.
Yeah,
and it's cool because another thing that's like that, when you go on like Amazon Prime and you watch the show, instead of captions for what the show's about, they just have these weird like advertisements for like weird shit. I don't know.
Yeah, they're like, welcome to Vought International or whatever, or for the Hero Gasm episode, welcome to Hero Gasm. Check in, sign an NDA.
Right. Yeah. So that is cool. That's cool. Really, really cool. Shout out Slade in the building. He says, salute to the Dynamic 3, Reno Stew, and of ever beautiful, intelligent, and always logical, sexy Sada.
Thanks.
That's not embarrassing. All right. No. But the boys, like they also look a lot different. So for multiple seasons, the main group in the boys has gone to war with members of the Seven, right? Because I was under the impression like the boys were the superheroes, but it's not. The boys are like the street level sort of Punisher and like those kind of characters. Where and the superheroes are called the Seven, right?
Yeah.
Those are the supers, the soups.
Great play on the Justice League. Just I love it.
Yes, absolutely.
I do too.
Yeah. But how do they match up to the comics versus the show? And this is Garth Ennis and Derek Robertson's source material. The Boys was brought to the screen by Eric Kripke, Seth Rogen, surprisingly, and Evan Goldberg. Like, I didn't even really know at first they were involved, but Evan Goldberg and Seth Rogen, you know them from, Pineapple Express, like all the great Seth Rogen comedies and shit like that. But it first started Amazon Prime mid 2019. But the series so far has been consistently renewed before each new season has dropped. And its popularity and acclaim has continued to rise. Both the graphic novels and the series centers on a unique task force led by Billy Butcher, and Billy Butcher is your sort of the Punisher guy. That's what I see him as. He's like the Punisher because he's like
I can see that. Yeah, because he's ruthless and he don't give a damn.
right, he's like a military dude,
Yeah,
and
you
he
going
has no
down. Yeah, you going
right.
down.
He
Yeah, you
got no
going down.
powers, but he can go up against superheroes no problem. And he's like weapons specialist, military colonel turned CIA deputy director. Grace Mallory was who originally Greg in the comics started the boys, focused on specifically on holding corrupt superheroes to account. Like that's what they were out there to, because superheroes were abusing their power, as I think in real life they would. And of course,
like when A-Train ran into my man's girlfriend, and he was trying. Yeah, he just ran, and then I mean, he didn't even care. He was like, "Oh man, my bad, I'm out." I was like, "Dang."
right,
But you didn't. It was like he just bumped into her. Like he just was like, "Oh, like dang, all right, bye."
Yeah.
That was brutal. And that was the first episode.
Right.
This is what you're in for.
Like,
all right.
Yeah. I mean, I think the first episode of every season is just like they want to hit you in the face quick and let you know.
They hit us in the face in this current season with that first episode.
Oh, did they? God. I was like, what? I was like, I can't believe they're showing this. Like crazy. But so the original team, the boys, was made up in the comic of Frenchie and Marvin T. Milk, aka Mother's Milk, and Billy. And then after a tragic event that saw Mallory's grandchildren burned to death, however, the team went their separate ways. So years later, still driven by an extremely personal vendetta, Billy would not only reform the squad, but expand it. And the new members would include your Huey Campbell, and Kimiko, aka the girl or the female, is what we call, depending on, who each had their own reasons to despise superheroes, and their creators, which is Vought International. And but the majority of their journey on the show has seen them clashing with the Seven, which is a twisted amalgam of popular superhero teams like both the Avengers and the Justice League. I even think that they tapped in a little G.I. Joe with Black Noir, because
he like Snake Eyes.
Just bro,
like yeah, he do.
The way he gets down, he's shrouded in mystery. We don't know shit about him.
You know what? He's like a good mix between Snake Eyes and Batman.
Yeah,
man, he don't talk much, but then he's always in the shadow, always doing his own thing. Like,
it seems like he's gonna be like the key to whatever's going on this season. I don't know. He ran off, and I feel like they're gonna touch on it, but I don't know.
Well, in the comics, there's a mystery.
It's more like it's mystery, but Deep Six is more like the one that they kind of focused on the most.
Yeah, the Deep, right?
The Deep, yeah,
the Deep.
But see the difference,
sort of like in
the comic.
Oh yeah.
Whoa.
You see the difference in the comic? He's just more of like a silhouette, whereas in the show, he's definitely got like armor. He looks like Snake Eyes, right? He's got like the padding, the armor, the helmet, the whole thing. But in the show, he's just a silhouette. Or in the comics, sorry, he's just like a silhouette. So they definitely made him more of like a Snake Eyes for the show. I don't know. I haven't read the comics fully. I've only flipped through them, but I haven't fully read them like Masher has. He read my man read all 3 omnibuses, but so I don't know, but I do know in the show, or rather in the
you gotta read the comic. It's the comic is so good.
The comic is good. The comic is good.
The comic is official. I've read most of them. I haven't read them all, but I read most of them.
Yeah, me too. I haven't read them all.
I think I'm missing about maybe 5 or 6. Maybe 5. I say maybe 4 or 5.
Yeah,
I
I
missed
cheated.
that. I
I
really.
cheated. I read them
I
digitally.
cheated.
I read them digitally. Didn't
Nah,
mind.
I read them. Because when I first saw the boys, I thought it was weird,
Mhm.
and I was at Wade's Comics, where you can get all your comic needs met if you have
Nice
needs for
plug.
comics.
Nice plug.
Uh, one of the guys there, he was like, "Yeah, you got to read this," and I was like, "What do you mean?" He was like, "Got to read the boys." He said, "This is it's
I
good."
disagree with that.
Um, so I picked it up. I picked it up on the strength of them, and um, I think I had bought 2 issues before I read it. And when I
Mhm.
read 2 issues back to back, and I was kind of hooked. I was like, "Damn, let me go get issue 3 and 4." And I only got
Oh
those.
Yeah.
yeah, he's a
Yeah.
Yeah,
clone of what's his name? Yeah,
Homelander.
yeah.
yeah, from Homelander. Yeah,
That
Now,
I know. That's one of the only things I know from the comics.
and that is from the comics.
Yeah,
See,
yes,
um, Nathan Mitchell plays Black Noir, who's been a staple of the Seven. In comparison to the comics, Black Noir is a double whammy in terms of changes. Firstly, his costume is extremely different. On the show, he's wearing like a body armor suit, like Batman or Daredevil or Snake Eyes. And in the comics, like I said, he's just got that form hugging, featureless bodysuit. And the latter added even more to the character's mystique, I think, in the comics, fittingly making him seem like just a shadow, right, or an embodiment of a black hole. And beneath the mask, however, afforded the most dramatic difference because in the comics he's revealed to be a clone of Homelander himself. On the show, that's not possible because since Maeve forcefully lifted his mask, and he did also lift his mask at one point to eat some candy or something, and he's a black man. I mean, he's a black man, like he's African American. So not a clone of Homelander in the show, whereas he is in the comics. I
right.
don't know what they're gonna do with him in the show because he is integral to the comics, and the ending and all that, the twist. Diamond Onyx, what up? What up?
It seems
And
like that's what they could be setting up since he's like he took out his tracker and he's gone now. I guess they could
right.
be setting that up in a different way, of course. But yeah,
Right. Right. That's what I'm saying. Like that's gonna be interesting to see how they what they do instead, because he cannot be a clone of Homelander, obviously. But Homelander, look how goofy this, and I think Stu, this is what you think it's weird because look how goofy they're drawn. I mean, they're
yeah,
very exaggerated, very exaggerated features and all of that, and it's just like I said,
I think the
that
actor brings that to life, though. That him being so exaggerated, like
he
I
does.
really think he brings that to life. He does a great job.
Yeah, yeah. Anthony Starr was I don't know if it was on the show. Somebody mentioned, but he was the star of a show called Banshee, which I watched
Mm,
the shit out of. I watched the hell out of
really.
Banshee. It was dope. Banshee was on, I think, Cinemax.
mm.
I used to watch it off Amazon Prime. I think it was on Cinemax back when Cinemax was a thing. And yeah, he was a totally different character. In this show, he's like a super good guy, you know, moral and all that. Like he's showing his range. It's so different that I didn't even know at first that he was the same dude from the show. Like somebody had to tell me, and I'm like, oh fuck, that is him. He had a shaved head. I mean, he looked a little different, but yeah, the dude is killing it with his sort of interpretation. And Homelander is the face of the Seven from the first episode, but his hold over the group gradually diminishes across the seasons. Like he's the leader but similarly to the comic book's original personality, uh, you know, remained horrifyingly sort of vicious, but it could be argued that the television version is even worse, even more vicious, even more sort of ruthless. In
Yeah,
fact, since he's responsible for acts he was framed for in the comics, like he really did them in the show. In terms of
yeah,
appearance, he's faithful. However, Starr's hair is dyed blonde rather than naturally so. But Anthony Starr is not quite so square jawed as the superhero costume that is clearly padded to give an illusion of the muscles and the bulk and all that. But regardless, the pair share the same color and level of sadistic menace in their really fucking blue eyes that Stormfront admired so much. Really crazy, like that crazy blue eye look. And then we got Starlight.
Yeah.
Typical,
Star of the show.
Star of the show, victim of the show, hero of the show. Yeah, they covered all the bases with her character. But I mean, similar costume, little different.
Yeah, I think her costume was originally like the one in the comic, and then she changed it. She wanted it changed, and then it was this.
Right, because she didn't want to be like a sex symbol.
Right.
Mm-hmm. What's Norin Rad saying? No, the changes they made so far have actually been good, so hopefully they can fix the end. Yeah, I'm sure they will. You know, they they seem to have a really concise plan. But the show, Erin Moriarty, she's Starlight. She's the original newcomer to the Seven and The Boys season 1. In terms of costume, yeah, she was largely identical to her comic book counterpart, both in terms of original and Vought's graphic redesign. The only real difference was that the comic version had a block yellow cape rather than white and star spangled. But she also has she lacked star-shaped earrings. Both versions of Starlight equally shared similar and physical appearances down to the blonde hair. But the actress's eyes are brown in the comic, they're blue, little shit like that. But Starlight on the page is often more depicted as forlorn. You know, in her expressions and behind her eyes, she's always very, you know, forlorn as the fucking word. But you know, the actresses, the live action version has you know, occasionally given into despair over her situation, but she's more frequently exuded an air of defiance that emboldened her. You know, like she, you know, she's more, I don't know, I think she's more confident in the show than she is in the comic.
Mm-hmm.
She comes across more
in the beginning. In the beginning, yeah, she's very kind of like standoffish and skittish a little bit.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
as time goes on,
yeah, this
time
season
goes on in the comic, she gets more bold, and because what it is in the comic, by the end of the story, she gets strong. She's almost as strong as Homelander, power wise. Like she might not be physically, but her power grows and she becomes stronger and stronger. And the stronger she becomes, she like, yo, like, I can actually take one of you jokers out. Like, and I ain't gonna break a sweat. And that's what it was. So she gets more confident as her powers become stronger.
Yeah. That might be what they're building to this season, because she's a lot more outspoken this season.
Yeah, you're right, Sada. I think this season they're gonna make her kick some ass. Like she's gonna show what she's got. Then we got old Queen Maeve looking like an old cougar over there on the comic.
she's supposed to want to play. I always thought she was a play on Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely Wonder Woman. Queen Maeve, played by Dominique McElligott. Elligot. She you know, she was the resident Amazon-like warrior. The show's version shares a similar personality to her comic book counterpart, frequently numbing herself with alcohol and sex, but like stepping up to support her fellow girl Soups and the boys when needed. However, with McElligott being an Irish actress, the show's version had a look more in line with the character's own Irish heritage. You know, and this is most depicted in her having red hair rather than blonde, like in the book. She also had Celtic swirls woven into the design of her costume. Despite Vought's penchant for producing more revealing costumes, however, the boys' Queen Maeve is not as gratuitously busty as in the comic. But both, though, you know, wore the star emblazoned steel shoulder pad thingies. Yeah. All the Soups die in the comics, though, with Butcher's bomb. Well, spoiler alert. No.
Damn.
Yeah. Who knows? They'll
hopefully they won't do that in the show. I don't feel like I don't know, with Soldier Boy being like a literal walking bomb. I don't know. Maybe they could be building something like that, but hopefully not.
Yeah, hopefully not.
I mean, I think they got renewed anyway, so yeah.
Yeah, they can't kill him off yet. If they do,
No, not yet. Not yet. I
Not
think
yet.
they're gonna squeeze as many seasons out of the boys as they can.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
People
they're
like
gonna
it. Yeah,
milk
people
it.
like it.
yeah. People are digging it.
People dig it. Yeah, you're right. So they're like, look, we gotta keep this going.
Yeah, it's because a show like this, it only took a little word of mouth, people seeing dicks exploding and all kinds of weird shit, just crazy. Like people are talking, and the show's just gonna get more and more, amped up, and I think it's gonna continue. One more season. Nornad says he thinks there's a
I can
season.
see that. I don't see this going on forever and ever. I
Nah.
think it definitely needs to have an endpoint. So I can see that.
Yeah. A favorite, A Train, one of the big stars of the show. Clearly, difference. African American. In the show, he's white. The resident speedster. As such, the character was race swapped, from the comics to the show. But this is largely to tie in the idea that the show's A Train was less a superhero than an athlete desperately trying to stay at the top of his game. Right.
I kind of like that costume from the
Yeah.
comic.
Yeah. Reminds me of Apocalypse or something. I don't know. Big
Yeah, I
A.
kind of wish he had that. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. The other one, the show one looks kind of like a bicycle outfit.
Yeah, I don't know what that padding is. It's very weird.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like some of the show costumes are intentionally cheap looking or intentionally fake looking versus MCU costumes or whatever, like they seem to be intentionally like homemade almost or something. They don't have the sort of quality that an MCU show or a movie would have. And I think but it seems to be intentional.
Yeah, I think most of them do, but some of them I feel like don't.
Yeah. And Usher's version, Jesse Usher, had shorter hair and maintained a trimmed goatee beard, which the comics clean shaven look, boy band hairstyle. The comic book version was much bulkier in terms of muscle mass. Their costumes utilized the same color scheme, with the different, like that big A design and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the biggest differences is the Deep. I don't know where Stu went. I think his phone died or something. He'll be right back.
Okay. The Deep, I love him.
Yeah,
but not really.
Not really. He's just you love to hate him.
Oh my god.
He's like a 7 foot tall black man in the comics.
Wow.
And they made him they turned him into like this super small, skinny little white dude. Chase Crawford. He's like the hapless washout. Originally a firm member, he's had, since found himself on the outs and perpetually doomed to failure and disappointment. He also marked one of the show's biggest changes. Like I said, 7-foot black man who wore a bulky helmet with a porthole. He was much. He literally wears the diving bell suit, and
that's a mess.
Yeah,
good change.
Good change, right? It's much more akin to Manta versus Aquaman, like with the big helmet.
Yeah, I can see
that. He was a pastiche of Black Manta. His glare in the above comics image, though, that I just showed was also demonstrated by a broader capacity for menace than the TV show version. In other words, in the show, he's more like Aquaman, small, skinny guy, whereas in the comic, he's just a big hulking guy, and he that freaking octopus. Oh god.
Timothy, I think that was his name. Ah, that's so funny.
Yeah, bro. But yeah, he definitely is more like Aquaman than Black Manta in the show, whereas in the comic, very different. Another major change was Stormfront.
Yeah, they gender swaps. Yes, that I know. Yes, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I think that was a good change.
Yeah,
it was nice. It was nice.
It was. Yeah. It was cool to see. I think they sort of toned down the Nazism a little bit. But Stormfront played by Aya Cash, another gender swapped character. In the comics, she's depicted in the traditional fashion of a thick-set and surly man. He wore his virulent Nazism as proudly as Homelander wore the American flag for a cape. On the show, the character was offered as a petite, traditionally long and raven-haired, attractive woman, and this was by shrewd design on the part of the boys' showrunner, who wanted to emphasize how things had evolved during modern times, while many still viewed people with such mentalities as embodied by the former. The boys put forward how social media and the like had allowed them to often be wrapped up in a pretty and appealing package. Another character is that I don't really remember this dude. Lamplighter.
Oh yeah, he was only in that one episode, and then he was killed.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because I was like, Lamplighter. Who is this guy? Clearly big differences in the comic.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the blonde hair versus the hood. And we got Soldier Boy, who is Captain America, obviously. And Soldier Boy is played by Supernatural's Jensen Ackles. In the comic book counterpart, do have some notable differences when it comes to appearances. Obviously, the costume, he's got the Captain America look, intentionally, of course, and they've got their shields, different shape. And he's wearing armor and stuff like that, more of a sleek black hair and everything. He looks more like Captain America post Civil War when he was
I wonder if that's what they were trying to do. It seemed like they were playing on that with his suit being so washed of color.
Right. Yep, I think that's exactly what they're doing. And I think they're sort of it's like the whole racism thing. Like he's very like I don't is he racist, or is it just his henchman, his sidekick
in the show, or in
the show? This dude was killing black people, talking about just running around the hood killing people. And
in the show, I wasn't getting racist from him. I don't know. I don't think I was getting that. I'm not getting that so far.
From Soldier Boy?
Well, wait, hold on, wait.
Because the other one,
considering what he did to MM's family, maybe, yeah, probably. That's the only instance I can pull from, though.
Well, so remember when A-Train brought Payback to the to his group?
Yeah.
And he like just started killing dudes, like tossing dudes around, and then before that he was on the news for it was like a sort of analogy or whatever of cops killing black people like in the real world.
Oh now. Yeah, when he like curb stomps someone in that, yeah.
Right, and the whole thing.
Yeah, A-Train made him roadkill, and that was great.
Yeah, drug him on the road. That was crazy. And that and killed himself though, didn't he? Didn't A-Train die?
That's what it looks like.
Good,
great way to go out. Shoot.
Good way to go out. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
But in this case, definitely.
Yep. Let's see. We got that's Billy Butcher and his wife.
Yeah.
And she's got some differences in the show. Well,
yeah, she's a brunette.
Yeah.
In the show.
Yeah.
It's redhead in the comics.
She the one that let me see. So yeah, she dies. So the biggest change in The Boys is the fate of his wife, Becca, right? Previously in the comics, she dies after having childbirth of Homelander's baby. Homelander raped her, and she dies in childbirth. In the show, they keep her alive. Same situation. Homelander, raped her. She has a baby by him, but she's alive. Yeah. Apparently, Vought hid her survival, and more importantly, her superpowered child. So her son with Homelander is super, and it's implied that superheroes biologically can't reproduce, possibly making Homelander's son the first superhero born outside of a laboratory. Her being alive also shatters everything Butcher believed in, making things unpredictable for him in the comics. From the comics, because like her being dead, like that sort of keeps him going. That sort of is like what is what motivates him to go after the suit. Yeah,
want to kill all of them. Yeah,
right, right. Um, um, let me see. Oh, this cat's hilarious. In the show, did a quick cameo. Love sausage.
Oh, yes, in the most recent episode.
Right, in Herogasm. Yeah. Yeah, in Herogasm, Love Sausage makes a cameo, but in the comics, he's he what does he do? He I think he kills Stormfront, or he has a role in it, in killing Stormfront. I know the TV version is very different. He just has a little cameo. But he makes his only appearance so far as a patient at Sage Grove Center. His appearance is shocking and pretty different from the comics. In the comics, Love Sausage is generally an ally and friend of the other heroes and teams up with the Seven to take down Stormfront once and for all. But he doesn't do anything in the show really, except you reminded me of Eddie Murphy in Raw. He was like, your wife, you say you can take your wife to Jamaica and she fucking Dexter St. Jock. He just
oh yeah,
shoulder. Yeah. But yeah, where do they get those wonderful names, Slade?
Who knows? But it's great to keep them up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, love sausage.
Love sausage. And you got Wee Huey. Wee Huey. They call him well, he's Huey in the show, but I think he's like Wee Huey Campbell or something like that in the comics. But mild-mannered newcomer who's brought into the Butcher's team after A-Train accidentally kills his girlfriend Robin, originally based on Simon Pegg, who now plays his doting father. Huey is a well-meaning yet spineless kid who Butcher pushes around into compliance. His love interest, Starlight, and him are she's more assertive than him in the series than he used to be. But while it takes him 8 episodes to defy Butcher's intimidating nature, this is still faster than the comics, where it took him forever to break free from the emotional sort of manipulation.
Yeah.
Pretty similar look. And of course, she is gender swapped.
Oh yeah, she was from the first 2 seasons, right?
Yeah,
yep.
Yeah.
She's the one that
Homelander killed her at the end.
I guess she's like the second one. Yeah, she's like the I don't know. I guess they're CEO liaison or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, something like that. She was high in power. She would like clean up their messes in a way.
Yes, she would. She would get into it with Homelander all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was like their superior in the comics. In the comics, though, she was James Stillwell, where she's Madeline Stillwell in the show. In the comics, he's an emotionless and like sociopathic corporate executive with nothing but Vought's welfare on his mind. And the series replaces James with Madeline as the Seven's handler. She's like, unlike her printed counterpart, Madeline is more human and vulnerable, even dying thanks to her vulnerability. But she may prioritize Vought's dealings, but she's not as inhuman as James in the comics, who ordered the massacre of the comics version of the X-Men for becoming too uncontrollable and unmarketable.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah.
How rough can you get?
Good Lord.
Scandalous.
Scandalous. She's so scandalous. Compound V and the boys. With the exception of the female, Billy Butcher and his men don't have any powers. They may be skilled in Black Ops missions and weapon handling, but the boys don't stand a chance against their heroes in a fair fight. To them, the heroes are nigh unstoppable monsters they have to exterminate. This is different in the comics because the boys can go toe-to-toe with any of the seven thanks to the super soldier serum, Compound V. Without their powers, they lose their original angst of being superpowered humans who hunt down superheroes for the government. Now, in the show, it wasn't until this last season, I think, when Butcher and Huey start
juicing up,
start banging the V and having powers and shit. But I guess in the comics, they've kind of been doing that.
Yeah, that makes sense from what you said about it being from exposure. You could get it, or if you shoot up or whatever. So yeah, it wasn't as controlled as it is in the show.
Right.
I don't know if I would Compound B.
Yeah, don't we all? Yeah, don't we all?
Maybe the 24-hour joint, but I don't know. That might be a lot.
Mother's Milk.
Interesting. And he's the only one who hasn't juiced up this season on the Compound V. So,
yeah, it's true.
Also, did what's his name juice? The one that
Frenchie. Oh yeah, Frenchie. He hasn't either.
Yeah. Okay. So there you can see sort of the that's Butcher's on the far left in the photograph, and he's at the top in the comic. And you got Huey down, I think, is the one at the very bottom. Frenchie's over there on the left, with his goggles. He's over on the right, and then of course the female is in the middle at the bottom, and there she is on the right in the drawing. But yeah, that's the boys. The 7 are the soups. The boys are these guys. The female, the girl, I think they call her the girl in the show.
Yeah, I think it's Kimiko, right? That's like her name. Yeah, that's what they call her in the show for the most part.
Okay. In the comics, she's the female. And as a baby, the female accidentally ate some Compound V and became the most dangerous of the boys. Save for Frenchie, no one understands what she's thinking, but she can be counted on to rip people's faces off. She's also part-time as a mafia hitman. And I think she's mainly sort of drawn from Kill Bill. She reminds me of Kill Bill Oren Ishii, Lucy Liu's character.
Oh yeah, Lucy Liu's, yeah.
Because remember they did the anime sequence of her as a kid, and she was like a mafia hitman.
So remember she watched her parents die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of the dopest parts, the anime part. But yeah, she bro. But the series gives her an entirely new backstory. Instead, she was a child soldier who was injected with Compound V by her guerrilla compatriots. Inadvertently, she was a byproduct of Vought's plans to create supervillains, as the company shipped the compound to terrorists to bolster the artificial demand for superheroes only they can satisfy. So they were literally going to create supervillains for their superheroes to fight. He drank from
not Jabba the Hutt.
Mother's nipple power.
Wow. That's why his name's Mother's Milk.
Yeah, because I was always wondering where in the hell that came from. I don't think it was ever touched on in the show. I believe that. I feel like they're setting up. They keep talking about wanting to leave the team.
Yeah, they do. They do have
this and do that. Every time they do that in the movies, they end up dying.
Yeah,
they do have a sad end.
Damn.
Yeah, like you. Yeah, I can see them sort of building up to that. I can see that coming, for sure. Yeah. So that's a lot of the differences between the show. The show and in the comic. But season 3, is closer apparently to the comics than any other season. The first
I
3
can't wait to
episodes,
see.
yeah,
I
bro.
can't wait to finish. Yeah, I can't wait to see how. I mean, listen. So far, it's been it's been real close. It's been real close, and I
Yeah,
like to see the differences. Like that's the one thing I really watch it. The main thing I watch it for. I mean, I like the show, but I mainly watch it to see the differences. But
right.
I'm glad it's a good show that I can watch it. Because if it wasn't good, I'd have been I wouldn't have been no good, man. I had to fire a rocket at
Serious.
Hollywood or something.
Oh no,
Serious.
no,
I
fire
mean,
that
we
Amazon.
because we have too many. This is where they just messed up stuff. Like the first Punisher movie, man. Fantastic
Yeah.
Four messed up. Uh,
In some way.
Morbius
Oh,
wasn't really that great. I mean, listen, if you would have just gave us a vampire movie and didn't put Morbius' name, on, but just gave us that, it'd have been better. And it wasn't that the movie was bad. It was just we know that's not what Morbius is.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just that's what keeps us from giving it a good score.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, you got multiple movies that came out that just didn't fit the bill. A lot of people didn't like the He-Man live action movie.
I
The
You
never
know, I
saw
first
want to
Power Rangers
rewatch
movie.
that. I want to
Really?
rewatch that. I want to rewatch that because I saw some like a YouTube video about it or something, but apparently the reason we all hated it so bad is because it's just nothing like the show, the cartoon that
No,
it's so different.
no,
But if you look at
no.
it just for what it is, like not He-Man, but like it's actually like apparently it's a cool story and like a decent movie. We just hated it
Right.
because it was so damn different. Yeah. But like
I
It
but
was,
guess.
bro.
well
He-Man had a
season
gun. He-Man had a gun.
oh it was
It was just
He
crazy. It
had
was
a
off the
gun?
chain.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he had a pistol. He had a laser pistol.
He
Uh,
didn't have
even
his
and he
similar,
sword.
had a
bro.
sword. And he
Oh
had a
no.
sword, but he was shooting back with a laser pistol.
It was Dolph
Um,
Lundgren. It was the rep
yeah,
Rocky. He was like,
Oh, okay, I get it now.
yeah. He didn't have Quinjer. He didn't have Battle Cat.
you
It
didn't have
was a lot.
what's the little guy with the hat, the
Oh,
little
Orko. Yeah,
Orko.
they didn't have Orko.
Yeah, some furry little Gimli looking troll dwarf guy.
Yeah, and then you had the Cosmic Key.
Oh.
Uh,
Yeah, bro. It was
oh, and he drove a Cadillac. He was in
Oh
a Cadillac.
yeah.
Yeah, it
What?
wasn't.
yeah,
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 it wasn't. I mean,
yeah,
I watched it like maybe a year or two ago.
yeah,
I was up late one night and it came on TV, so I just sat up and watched it. And
yeah, yeah.
it really it hasn't aged well. Um,
No, because Skeletor was dope. See, Norm Rad says so too. The
no,
guy that
Skeletor,
played him,
no, the way he looked and all
yeah,
that was cool.
but he wasn't
And
Skeletor. You have to like remove
but
yourself
it was
from
just
looking at
like
the cartoon.
I don't know,
No.
man. I listen. It didn't. When I say it didn't age well, I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean like when you watch it, like when we were kids and we watched it, we were like, oh, He Man. But now you watch, you like, yo, this joint ain't got nothing to do with He Man.
It
Like you're
don't.
like, wait a minute.
Well,
Like
I knew that
it's
then.
like they
That's why
made
I hated it.
right, like they made
Mm,
their own. Like Hollywood made their own He Man,
Oh,
their own
what's
version of He
new?
Man, and that's just like at the end. If you watch the credits, it says based on
Oh,
Masters of the Universe by
that's
Mattel.
the
And that's
worst.
exactly what it was. It was
Yeah.
Should
based
say
on
loosely
Oh,
based on.
that's
But
like when they said
it
Arrow is
was based on
based
it.
on Green Arrow. No, it's not. That's based on Batman. Stop playing.
Yeah, it was because at the end of the G.I. Joe movies that they made the live act, at the end they say based on Harrisburg, and that's what they were, based on G.I. Joe. They
yep.
weren't actually G.I. Joe.
Nope, not at all.
It was
Um,
loosely G.I. Joe.
yeah, loosely based.
But
It had some of the same named characters. Was about and Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow were there. Other than that, I'm like,
yeah,
where the fuck is Cobra Commander? That is not Destro. That is not Zartan. Like the only one that was close, the only one that I was like, fuck yeah, was Firefly because it was Ray Stevenson who was kick ass in
Mm,
Punisher Warzone. and he was dope.
Yeah, it
And
was.
he was
Yeah.
dope. Yeah, Firefly was cool in that, but other than that, bro, and I think that was in the second or the third one. There was like two. Like I was
Yeah, there were
mad.
two. The one with The Rock, that was the second one. What was it? Resolution Retro, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
That one's a guilty pleasure for me. The second one.
Oh, you like that one? The movie?
Yeah, I don't mind rewatching that one. I like it. I don't have a strong tie to GI Joe, so that's plays a part in it.
That plays a big part in it, and that's what I'm saying. Like about He-Man and like all these shows, and like I get into these arguments with people. It was just like the thing with Obi-Wan. It's like if you're not a big fan of the source material, then you probably don't know why this sucks. So to you, it's just good, and for the casual audience, like it is. No, it is. But the boys this season has managed to become even more close to the comics than before. Not that the series wasn't similar before, but certain things that are taking place and have gotten name dropped have a distinct flavor and feeling that came from the comics. For starters, the boys as a group is actually working within the framework of the government, officially sanctioned by the FBSA, the Federal Bureau of Superhuman Affairs. And we not only see Billy leading his team in a reconnaissance mission, but also getting approval to carry out a hit on one of the soups. The big difference here is Huey has some authority over Butcher, and the boys were working as a team for the CIA in the pages of the comics. So the biggest similarity in the series currently in the comics, however, is where the boys are working out of that flat iron building and their base of operations for the entire comic series. Which the other
I'm trying to remember who was the one they had trapped in there. They kidnapped him.
It's Translucent.
Translucent.
Yeah, remember?
Yeah,
remember they were looking for him, and
they got him in the cage.
Yeah,
and put a bomb up his ass.
Yeah, because you remember Homelander was flying around looking for him.
That was tense. Oof.
Yeah, but the other big change to the show that largely connects it to the source material is Butcher's usage of Compound V. Like I was saying before, like that they just started that this season through the TV series. You know, the TV series has him taking doses of a temporary V, which only gives him powers for 24 hours, is somewhat in line with the characters in the comics who all have doses of Compound V. Though none of the boys have powers in the comics. They just have enough V in their system to take some punishment and dish it out to the soups. Whereas, you know, we've got Butcher with laser eyes in this one, and you know, Huey's got invisible teleport powers. Yeah, teleport. But you know, a handful of other inclusions and moments in the new episodes have direct ties to the comics, like Jim Beaver's Senator Bob Singer, now nicknamed Dakota Bob, the name for the United States president in the comic series. And there's also an inclusion of Red River in the series, though the TV show takes it a soup orphanage for youngsters with powers. The comic series uses Red River as a parody of the U.S. military contractor Blackwater. Get it? Blackwater, Red River. Finally, there's a key moment in the flashback episode when the young Stan Edgar reveals that back in the 1980s, Vought International was known as Vought American, exactly the company name from the comic series. And then 5 episodes. We got how many episodes are left?
2
left. And we've got 3 new episodes debuting Fridays. So if there's 2 left, I thought they were dropping 3.
Yeah. So what they do at the premiere of each season, they give us 3 episodes, and then the rest are every Friday.
Okay. No, I knew it was something they were giving. They gave us 3 at one point, but okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
I wish it was just. I wish it was just a little bit longer.
A little longer.
Yeah.
I'd love. Yeah, I'd love
Obi-Wan. The Obi-Wan trilogy kind of, you know, when you talk about anything under 10 episodes, that kind of killed it for me. When you talk under 10 episodes, and I get scared and I'll be like, dang, what's going on? We got less than 10 episodes.
I know, like,
Something
come
crazy.
on.
Yeah, that's why the Disney Plus
Crazy.
series just. Because why are you 6 episodes? Can we
Well, I
at
got
least
Honestly,
good.
8?
I
honestly
have good.
though,
I do have good news for y'all, especially you,
I'm
Rena.
glad. I'm
Oh,
Um,
glad. I'm glad. Oh,
it's
I'm
been
glad it was only 6 episodes.
it's
Take no
been
more of that.
confirmed.
oh.
It's been confirmed. It's a rumor, but some confirmation to the rumor.
Okay.
The Disney CEO, the top guy that's in
Mm-hmm.
charge,
Bob
they
Chippick.
just extended. Yes, they just extended his contract for 3 more years. And the first thing he did was he took Kathleen Kennedy out of the picture for
Go.
future Star Wars anything. She's I
All
guess she's
Filoni
still
now, baby.
there. Yeah, she's still there. She still
Yeah,
does the production and all that, how she did
but
back in the 90s and the 80s.
she ain't writing no more
But
scripts and
no, she's not writing any more scripts.
producing no more
She has
Star
no
Wars
more say
show.
so. Right? Yeah, she has no more say so. She has no more input.
Mm-hmm.
Dave Filoni is now officially confirmed that he has officially started working. They claim he's a workaholic when it comes to Star Wars.
Yeah,
So they
he's
were
a
saying
super
that
fan.
yeah, they said like he stays up
He's
day and night.
annoyingly he's a fan. He's annoyingly a fan. Like
Yeah.
he'll
All the
go
budgets
about
for
it.
all budgets for all Star Wars shows, that means the ones that are on Disney Plus, have been increased.
Yeah, they're getting a bump.
They said they said from now on they will be movie like
Yep.
quality. They said that not
Like
only
the
for
Marvel shows are. Come on.
right, they said not only for production, but also for costumes, design, everything else, and that they will all be 1 hour long or
Right.
longer
Right.
from now on out, including, I don't know how true it is, but this is a rumor that I heard,
Mm,
including Bad Batch and the
Mm-hmm.
mm.
cartoons that they
Yeah.
come out with, that they will be, and that's this, some of the other
Mandalorian.
little kiddie-ish, right? They said that some of the other little kiddie-ish cartoons, they're not going to do those. They're going to stick
Well, they are
to,
doing a kids one called what was it? What was that one? I told you it was a kids one the other day.
I forget, I know what you're talking about. Well,
Something about
they're still coming in. Well, this is what they
soldier.
had. They had like 20, they had like 20 or they had like 20 in the works for the next couple of years. Like,
Oof.
even if they weren't in production, but they were on the books and slated, like they were confirmed projects.
Mm-hmm.
As of now, a lot of them are getting either scrapped, rewritten, or done into something else. But that's more Star Wars. That's going to be more, the vision that, we can
Yeah.
have to carry on the story and make the fans more pleased with what they get.
Yeah.
Uh, they said that the Obi-Wan, listen, everybody out there in the chat, the Obi-Wan that we got was actually a script that Kathleen Kennedy wrote for Obi-Wan movie.
Right.
Um, the movie was scrapped, so she took it upon herself to put a lot of that movie into this TV series, and it made it
Mm,
in. And if it and the script basically focused on everything this movie's focused on, Revan, Riva, and Princess Leia.
yeah.
They
Don't
weren't
don't
supposed to do
don't
that.
don't
That's
diss
how you know
Reverend.
they don't care because that got past everyone and they said, good to go.
Yeah. So next season of Obi-Wan, which we'll probably get in 2024, they're saying be on the lookout. It'll be more like Mandalorian. Mandalorian's even getting a bump up to its budget, and that should
Mm-hmm.
be an hour instead of, because Mandalorians are like what, maybe like 30 minutes,
Yeah, those are pretty
something like
short.
40 minutes. Yeah, they
Yeah,
said
they
from
were
now
short. They were too short.
yeah, they said they'll be an hour from now on. So they're
Oh,
gonna be an
Mm-hmm.
hour. That's the targeted runtime is an hour
Yeah.
for those shows
Well,
now.
speaking of Mandalorian in season 3, Star Wars Celebration confirmed that fans won't have to wait too long to see it. Will be turning next February. Fans at the convention of the Star Wars Celebration got to see a sneak peek of the anticipated season, confirming the characters like Katie Sackhoff's Bo-Katan will return. Um, you've got after being separated for a few episodes, Din Djarin is finally reunited with Grogu. The two will be heading to Mandalore with the Darksaber, which probably won't go well for the iconic duo. But fans are still curious about what will happen to Moff Gideon and what role the Empire will have in the next season. One thing fans do know is that Taika Waititi will return to direct another episode or two of the series. Waititi directed the finale for the first season of The Mandalorian, which had been praised as one of the best finales for Star Wars. We all know it was like brought Luke back, and we all shit our pants, and it was crazy. Yeah, so after Thor: Love and Thunder, Taika will be spending a lot of time on the Star Wars show, since the director will be working on The Mandalorian and his own Star Wars movie. At the moment, Taika's movie is shrouded in mystery, as no one in Lucasfilm has shared any details. Probably not that many even know, but the only detail fans do know is that the movie will be the next Star Wars film, and it will, release possibly next year. With Taika admitting that he is still working on the script, it's possible that the movie might get delayed to 2024, but we can hope for the best. But yeah, I thought season 3 of Mandalorian was going to be a little farther away than next February, so that's good news.
Yeah, I did too. I thought we weren't gonna get one that soon. Either.
Yeah.
Because they were saying that who's the guy, Pedro Pascal? They were saying that he didn't know if he wanted to stay with it. There was rumors that he wanted to move on, do something else. Yeah. Because all the behind the scenes, Kathleen Kennedy really kind of tried to ruin a lot when it came to Star Wars. And I don't know if it was on purpose or because she had her own vision that she wanted to push.
Yeah.
I really don't
think
know.
it was on purpose. I just think she didn't understand how serious it was, and she just thought it was I don't know how you can not understand, but yes, there's an Ahsoka show that is coming as well, that I think now that the sort of now that the Obi-Wan show gave Disney the backlash that they needed to wake the hell up and realize that Star Wars deserves every bit of the attention that Marvel gets.
Not more, man.
Yeah.
Listen, if Disney wants to stay afloat, let's keep it a buck.
But Ahsoka show will.
Let's keep it 100 on this show right here. Let's just keep it a buck on this show. Let's keep it a buck. How many Disney shows we really gonna watch? How many times we gonna see Snow White? The best thing Disney ever did was turn their cartoons into live action shows, and they've been moderately successful.
Yeah.
I mean, how
the best thing they ever did was to buy Star Wars and Marvel, and the worst thing Marvel, they ever did was fuck them up.
Right, because what's going to keep Disney afloat? Disney
honestly
Disney used to be big, and they did a couple. They did a couple shows like Pirates of the Caribbean. That was nice.
And they're trying to bring that back, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, and doesn't Disney own? Don't they own like Pixar or one of those animated studios?
They bought Pixar. They bought Pixar, and they could have had DreamWorks, but they turned them down. Yeah. They could have had DreamWorks, but they turned them down. And so you got to ask yourself a question: if you a CEO at Disney or anybody at bigger, you got to say, how many rehashes can we do? Because that's what Disney's been doing. When you look at the last 20 years, right? Disney hasn't had a new IP in a long time since they picked up Marvel and Star Wars. Yeah. Think about it, man. They had nothing, bro. Everything was a rehash. Everything was a remake. Everything was from cartoon to live action, from live action to cartoon. They were literally living off of the morals of the stuff they already made. I mean, come on, how many of those you going to do?
If they lose Disney Plus, that might be a little close to it for them, because only reason they're pumping out all these shows is to make sure people stay with Disney Plus, because otherwise there really is no point, I feel like,
to having
the service.
I
mean, there are other services you can use for the kids.
If I show you my movie collection, I damn near have all the Disney movies on.
Yeah, and parents would rather just buy the Disney films for their kids and just have those there than pay almost $10 to have them
every month.
thing. Yeah, like that's ridiculous.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I just paid for the year. I just paid $70 in November, and I'm done for the year.
Yeah.
I ain't got time to be missing. But
You just pay the
it
yearly.
gives parents the convenience, right? It gives parents the convenience of watching them on the go,
That's
things
true.
like that. But you got to remember, these kids grow up, and
Yeah.
then like my sons grew up on Toy Story. I'm not even gonna lie. They're excited about they're 26 and 27, and they're excited about Buzz Lightyear. Like no lie, they're really
Oh
excited
yeah.
about the movie.
Yeah, my son too. He grew up on Cars, Spider-Man.
Yeah, my youngest
Sam
grew up on
Raimi,
Cars.
Spider-Man. That was his shit.
Yeah, my youngest one grew up
And the
on
prequel.
Cars.
Yeah,
We
Cars.
actually took him to Disney to see Cars, and he was like blown away. Like he was like blown away by all that. So
he thought he used to run around because Lightning McQueen in the very opening he says, "I am Speed." So for years my son called him Speed. He thought his name was Speed, and it was so cute. But he was 2 years old, and I sat him on the couch, put an Xbox controller in his hand, and put the Cars game on for him. 2 years old, and he started playing. And so he's been a gamer since 2. Put that stick in his hand, and he ain't put it down since. Yeah, I created a monster with that one. But yeah, Cars was his shit, bro. And it's so sad what happened to the franchise, man. They just got worse and worse.
Right. Because they kept doing all these spinoffs on Mater, and I'm like, you have so many other characters. Are we focusing on Mater? Like he's not that marketable. So I don't.
And then they make him like a has-been, like he's a washed-up racer and all of this. Like, why?
And they could have went somewhere with that, but they didn't. Like,
and he goes faster when he's racing backwards. Like when he's going in reverse, like when he's going, he's faster in reverse. Yeah. Because my son.
I thought that's Mater. Like that.
That's Mater, yeah. Because my 12-year-old was little. We watched, no lie, one summer I must have watched Mater Tales. I still got the DVD. Bro, I must have watched that joint. I was watched that joint about 175 times. We drove down south, and we rented a van. That joint had a DVD player in it, and we watched Mater Tales all the way down. I watched Mater Tales all the way back. I know that joint verbatim. Like, but I will say my favorite one was when he was drifting in Tokyo. That's my joint. I can't lie. Yeah, Tokyo Drift made it.
I wrote death sticks on my cigarette pack because I wanted to remind myself that how ridiculously bad Kathleen Kennedy's High Republic, the whole High Republic Star Wars is so out of touch with Star Wars. It's the new Disney Star Wars. They got a kids show coming out. But anything High Republic, bro, is so bad. Like, they have no idea what Star Wars is about. They don't even know shit about Star Wars. I saw the writer's room. They had 2 whiteboards for ideas. And in 3 places on those whiteboards was the word diversity. And that's like all they were focused on. Had no interest in no war, peace, like just so like. And I was it a book? Okay, so I had an audio book, and I was listening to a Star Wars audio book about Old Republic, Darth Revan, and I got like a little ad that said, "Check out this High Republic audio book," and I'm like, so I was like, you know what though? I mean, they have some really badass covers. Like their covers look really cool, and they have some cool ass looking characters. So I'm like, let me give it a chance. Let me try it. And within the first, I'm done, bro. Like they start talking about, and any real Star Wars fans knows how ridiculous and funny this is. They start talking about, so such and such leaned back and pull out his pack of death sticks and lit one up. Took a drag. Death sticks are not cigarettes in Star Wars. You don't smoke them. All right. It's a little vial of liquid that they has nothing to do with a cigarette. Okay. But, I could see someone who didn't, know watching the prequels when the guy's like, you want to buy some death sticks? And the guy's like, you don't want to sell me death sticks, Obi-Wan. And so from that, you think death sticks, and we know we call cigarettes cancer sticks. So I get them thinking it was cigarettes, but You should
Simple
know.
research could have
Yeah,
solved that.
simple research. You know what I'm saying? Like you should know better, dog. Shit like that, but stuff like that's funny to me, man. Speaking of Star Wars though, and Crimson Reign, I don't know if anybody's reading Crimson Reign. I got some comics I can show you, but Crimson Reign is the new Star Wars series in the comic books right now, and it's about Crimson Dawn, which is the crime syndicate that we I think first heard about in the movie Solo. But the final issue of Crimson Reign, a new empire is formed in an attempt to destroy the galaxy's Sith lords once and for all. So this is interesting because we know that the empire was run by a Sith, the original empire. Rather than being allied with the rebellion for a few remaining Jedi that exist between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, Lady Kiara and Crimson Dawn have built a brand new resistance that's all their own. As such, this new hidden empire has risen with the express purpose of specifically ending the Sith Lords rather than the galactic empire they ruled during this era. And then, this follows the War of the Bounty Hunters crossover event, which saw Crimson Dawn's resurgence under the leader, Lady Kiara. Crimson Reign has seen all of Kiara's executing various plots against the Sith, having spies and agents all over the galaxy. And these have included the Knights of Ren stealing from Darth Vader's fortress, Ochi Bestoon assassinating Palpatine's entire royal guard right in front of him, and even trying to find out and recruit Jedi Master Yoda to join Crimson Dawn. But like Ochi Bestoon is a Sith assassin that's been all through like a lot of the new stuff ever since he was first mentioned in the sequel trilogy. He's the guy that Palpatine sent to kill Rey's parents because remember Rey's dad is a clone of Palpatine. And so the whole thing about, and I don't listen, I'm not a fan of the sequels. They suck. They destroyed Luke Skywalker. They ruined the Jedi. They just made a mockery of the Force. They created this ridiculous Mary Sue character who is completely ridiculous. But there's some cool shit that came out of those stories. The whole I don't mind the whole clone of Palpatine and all that. The Ochi Bestoon character is cool as fuck. Sith assassin that they send around, kills people. But so now the final issue of Crimson Reign from Charles Soule and Stephen Cummings features Darth Vader and Palpatine deciding to make the destruction of Lady Cara and Crimson Dawn their highest priority, seeing the crime syndicate as a genuine threat to their power. However, the last chapter sees Kiara upping the ante, now that her end game is finally ready, giving the order to spread absolute chaos and stagger the Sith on all fronts. Kiara confirms the Dawn is bringing forth a brand new regime in the Star Wars galaxy. So check out Crimson Reign. It's dope. Charles Soule is the author of the Darth Vader comic that is so, revered. He's a phenomenal comic writer. So that's why I checked it out. Because I don't like to follow canon from the sequel trilogy. Ask me them sequel trilogies, that shit is not canon, bro. Anything from that is not canon to me. But I include Legends as canon and all of that. So to me, all that shit is canon. But there are some things that have come from it that are decent.
Right. Because Kathleen Kennedy says they're not canon.
Yeah.
They're not worthy.
Forget her.
But I think she did that, Reno, to basically the main characters have to die. They just she just doesn't want them. She just doesn't want them
legacy characters
in the Star Wars universe, which is cool.
But I don't get it.
Start off with that. You don't give us the legacy characters. Kill them, degrade them. Like you could have bought us. We could have
killed them in good ways. Let them die in a good way.
You could have listened.
What they did.
I say it all. I say it all the time. They should have just left well enough alone. Return of the Jedi was the end. That was it. You go about 80 years later, 100 years later, do something else, whole
Yeah,
new
they should have
story,
done.
all new
I'm
all new characters. We're good to go. Yeah, you let it rock.
This is what they should have done. This is what they should have done. It's called Legacy. It's called Star Wars Legacy, and it's about a character named Cade Skywalker,
Mm.
who's a great grandchild of Luke and Anakin. That dude right there. He's actually a bounty hunter, though he's not like a Jedi or anything. So it's actually really cool. Like you were saying, Stu, something very different. And then there's new Sith characters and all of that. But
Oh,
it's a
wow, why didn't they do that?
good
Thank you.
fucking
See,
question.
look, see, yeah, see,
Good
what?
question.
Hook us up, give us a whole new story, do something different. It's a
And
new
this is where I
trilogy.
learned about Death Sticks. This is where I learned about Death Sticks and what they really were, is these comics right here. But see, that's Cade, and check it out. Like it's a cool new like group of characters they could have made. Like this whole bounty hunter. Stop that! Stop that camera. Let's see where y'all can see them.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, it's like a cool team of bounty hunters, and we love bounty hunters in Star Wars.
Yeah, they
Bounty
could
hunters.
have did that. And then maybe do a new Jedi or something. I don't know. I mean,
Well, he's got, he's he's force sensitive. He could be a Jedi. I think he was a Padawan at some point. I forget. Been forever since I read this shit, but yeah, there's so much they could have done, should have done, and yeah, bro, Star Wars Legends novels are phenomenal. If they didn't want to go with, like, that's what they should have done. They should have definitely followed the Skywalker saga, gone where George Lucas was gonna go, because George Lucas started treatment scripts for his sequel trilogy. It had Darth Maul, it had a female Sith Lord who was the big bad, and it had the crime syndicate, Crimson Dawn, and so it was going to be really cool, and like, bringing back Maul and all of that. Like, he had a whole idea, and not Kathleen Kennedy, sorry, Disney, Bob Chapek, I think, made the deal with him, and they did a contract, and they agreed that they were going to follow his script, and then they completely scrapped it, or they would reference it or something like that. They completely, went whole opposite direction because they wanted to. Their sort of, logic was that they wanted to get away from the prequels. Like, they didn't want to do anything the prequel trilogy did. They didn't want any prequel trilogy characters, so no Maul. Like, they just wanted to get far from the prequels and create their own, Disney Star Wars, their own new Star Wars story. So, like Stu said, that's what they should have done. They should have went with a whole new story. Like, let's
We should
just
have went with
jump,
a whole new story.
yeah,
Yeah,
jump 80
just
years.
jump 100 years,
Yeah,
80 years, 20 years. We don't even
new,
care.
new, all new
Just make
characters.
right.
sure,
But don't have
right? All new
Luke
characters.
Skywalker drinking out of walrus titties. Come on, dog. Come on.
Yeah, you could have
And
had.
throw
You could even tapped. You could even tap George Lucas, because I know he has something else written. Said, George,
oh,
look, what else you got in? What else you got in your magic box? We want to make it into a movie. New
Ray
characters, though. We want all new characters.
Ray
We want this. I guarantee he
hands
got something.
Ray hands Luke Vader his father's lightsaber in the sequels, and Luke tosses it off the cliff like it's trash.
Which was a lightsaber he used.
It was his father's. Like, he would have not done that. And then it would make it so bad. In the third movie, Ray throws her lightsaber and he brings it up to her and goes, we should be more respectful with, lightsabers. Like, come on, man. Like, did you forget what you wrote in the previous movie? They don't even know what the hell their own movie does, let alone the Star Wars lore. Just forget it, man.
I know.
But we thank God for Dave Filoni, man. Thank God for Dave Filoni for coming in and being like, no, no, no. Y'all not gonna do George Lucas's legacy like this. As long as I'm here, and and they're peppering in Black Critical. They're peppering in Legends lore as well. They're putting more Legends content and making more and more stuff from the Legends novels canon. Even Darth Revan is canon now because they put him in the visual. It's like an encyclopedia thing in the DVD for the sequel trilogy. So Revan's there, so Darth Revan is there. So there's hope. There's hope. There's hope. Dash Rendar, Kyle Katarn.
Dash Rendar was dope.
Shadows of the
I
Empire.
know Shadows of the Empire was dope. That was a book, wasn't it?
It was a video game, I think.
It was a book. I know it was made. It was a video game, but I think they wrote a book or it was like a novel or something. They made a video game out of it. And,
I know there's a comic, but yeah,
versa.
there is a book. Matter of fact, I think I have that book.
That could have been a 3-part. That could have been a 3-part movie. You know,
bro. There's countless things they could have done better than what they did.
Yeah, they could have, man. But
a lot of people. Yeah, it was a book.
Yeah, and then a lot of people keep asking for, and this has been since the late '90s. The Old Republic movies.
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting
people
for.
Want to see the Old Republic.
That's to me that's my favorite part of Star Wars, the Old Republic. The Old Republic stuff, I like it better than the Luke Skywalker saga. I like it better than anything else. The Old Republic,
they might mess that up.
That's what I'm saying. Like
I've never read any of it.
Yeah, I'm not.
I've never read any of it. I heard it was good.
Well, if you played the game Knights of the Old Republic or Knights of the Old Republic 2, you learn about Darth Revan, you learn about Malak, you learn about Darth Sion. There's all kinds of characters, Darth Nihilus, a lot of characters that would be phenomenal in live action. But like Sada said, I don't know if I want this crew to make those movies. Like I want to wait till they figure out who needs to be making their movies. Get Filoni in there, maybe bring some other people, because the team they got that made the sequel trilogy, keep fucking Rian Johnson away from Star Wars. Keep J.J. Abrams away from Star Wars, because those guys are only concerned with their own legacy. They wanted to create a Star Wars that they could say, this is my Star Wars. Had their stamp on it. And that's where they fucked up.
Well, it's the same thing for Star Trek. A lot of people complain that when he got a hold of Star Trek, J.J. Abrams, and they were good, and nobody ever said they weren't.
I like that.
But he kind of messed up the timeline. So they have like a Kelvin timeline now, and a lot of people were like, "Well, okay, but where's the Klingons?" Because they never put the Klingons in none of the movies except for the one, and they weren't even really an integral part of it, but they should have been. And
Romulans,
they just it just wasn't. A lot of people just hate the Kelvin timeline. A lot of hardcore Star Trek fans, but the commercial audience is where those movies were a big hit with them, of people that can watch Star Trek or they like Star Trek, but they're not Trekkies. So the casual audience, the casual audience got 3 more movies. They got 3 movies out of that. But the Trekkies, the hardcore, they were not so happy. They're like, nah, you messed up. If you're gonna go that back, go that far back and recast them, at least give us the regular stories or move on. They did none of that. So, hello there.
Hello there. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, Moff Gideon says, "What up, y'all?" That's me and Moff Gideon right there, my son. But yeah, we are going to call it a show. We went over a little 24 minutes. Sorry, Prof. We tried, but we'll keep it down. But yeah, man. I think next week we'll probably touch on some more Star Wars stuff and get into that. Saturday we got DC Power Hour again, and then Monday we got, of course, Hip Hop and Comics Monday show. Every Saturday, every Monday, every Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check it out. For the several people that are in here now that weren't in here when we first started, just go back and watch the replay. This has been a great show, so everybody want to catch that. And you can catch me also on Instagram selling comic books this weekend. I'm usually up there all the time at 6_element_comics. That's my joint right down there. So check me out up there. And we will see you guys Saturday.
Yes.
Don't forget to check out Sada. And don't forget to check out Sada's channel.
Oh, yeah. What the fuck?
I don't like to promote my channel, but it's
why?
I don't know. I don't know. I never felt like promoting it, but it is my name that's up here with 2 underscores. That's my channel. So I actually have to do a new video probably today. So yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, man.
I did a reaction to the Harley Quinn season 3 teaser or whatever. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's a great channel, guys. And trust me, if you like her commentary and insights on this show, you'll love her show. She really goes deep. So yeah, guys, that's our show. Peace.
Peace.